Hi everyone. I have been exposed to a lot when it comes to paranormal activity, and me and my families are open when it comes to it because many of us have encountered the paranormal. This story is the first paranormal encounter that I can remember. I F 20 have experienced a very scary encounter at my grandmother's house when I was 8 years old. I shared this encounter with my cousin Philip, M19, who was 7 years old at the time. Every summer, me and my cousin used to sleep over at our grandmother's house. She lives in a very small village in Serbia and lives in a house that is positioned in two parts, basically two houses that share a yard. One of the houses has the living room, kitchen, and bathroom, and the other house has a hall and two big bedrooms. The house where the bedrooms are is old and just renovated a bit inside, while the other house is built by my grandpa. It was a summer night when me and my cousin were sleeping over at my grandmother's house. We both couldn't fall asleep, and we were alone in the room. I would have guessed that the time was around 2 to 3 a.m. at this point. We were both kind of half asleep at this point. I opened my eyes again and looked towards the big closet that was across the room. I saw a silhouette of a taller and skinny woman with long curly hair opening the closet and looking for something. At first, I just thought it was my mom looking for something, as my mom had long curly hair at that time. After a few seconds, I came to the realization that my mom is not at my grandmother's house. I felt a drop in my heart and I froze. I remember trying to pinch my cousin so that he would wake up, but I was so scared that I couldn't move. I watched the figure move across the room and out of the door into the hallway. The lights in the hallway were turned on, and the second the light hit the figure, it disappeared. I remember being so scared and confused that I couldn't move from fear. I slowly drifted away and fell asleep. When I woke up in the morning, I remembered everything, but I guess I just wrote it off as a dream or just my eyes playing tricks with me. I didn't mention this to anyone, as I kind of forgot about it until a few years ago. I would say this was 4 to 5 years ago, and my cousins and I were sitting at my grandmother's house. My grandmother was telling us all these different stories of the paranormal that she encountered, and one story to another led to my cousin Philip telling us that he saw a weird thing at my grandmother's house when he was younger. He started explaining that he saw a silhouette of a woman looking around the closet and disappearing into the light. I was honestly shocked and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I started adding details to his story, and we soon realized that we saw the same thing. We think we saw it the same night, as he said that he remembered I was with him at that time, but he thought I was asleep and didn't want to wake me up. My grandmother didn't seem surprised that we saw this girl. She explained to us that the family that owned the house prior had a daughter that was 19 years old. She was tall, slim, and had black, long, curly hair. She had trouble with sleepwalking and climbed up on the roof when she was sleepwalking. One of her family members, in panic, woke her up by shouting. When she woke up, she lost control and fell from the roof and unfortunately died. My grandmother told us that she would often have dreams about a girl yelling at people from the roof. These dreams occurred most when they first moved in, and my grandmother didn't know about the story. She was later told about the story by a friend she made in the village, and she never dreamt about it again. There are many other stories from this house and this village, but this was my most memorable one. Tell me if you want to hear more stories from the same place. My grandmother told us that she would often have dreams about a girl yelling at people from the roof. These dreams occurred most when they first moved in, and my grandmother didn't know about the story. She was later told about the story by a friend she made in the village, and she never dreamt about it again. There are many other stories from this house and this village, but this was my most memorable one. Tell me if you want to hear more stories from the same place.